What was the best thing the quiet kid has said or done in class? Once the quiet kid said plastic BTCH. To the rude kid in the class, I was laughing so hard I fell out of my chair. My mom was the quiet kid. Constantly made fun of. She was quiet, depressed, antisocial. Didn't have many friends besides her little sister and little sister's friends, which she didn't know that well, and was constantly picked on. One day some boy sitting in front of her says something, she can't remember what, but it might have been misogynistic, and she just calmly hit him in the head with her notebook before sitting. Didn't know I was the quiet kid until I overheard people talking about the scary antisocial girl. I had some fun with it though. I'd just stare at the girls when they stand in groups with a serious look on my face, and when they notice me, I just look at them straight on until they either go somewhere or continue their conversation. Then I was the creepy quiet kid, which led to none of the girls wanting to be my friend. But it was great though. Scaring people was fun, and I managed to get some of the boys to be my friends. We'd mostly just scare the girls. We'd talk about some pretty ducked up shit while the girls are listening. And of course, the staring. High school was fun. There was this one time about 4 years ago with the quiet girl in my government class. The teacher, total a shat by the way, had to her sit back down, we have 15 minutes left of class, you can't leave. The girl just grabbed her things, flipped off the teacher and just left. The girl had left a few times prior to this though, and was just sick of the teacher's crap. Turns out the quiet girl's mother was in the hospital for something, can't remember what, and would go to the hospital to visit her mother. So this is a small thing but still cool. I was the quiet kid and didn't talk to much people, and wasn't the most athletic kid, and was crap at sport and hated to be on team. One day 7th grade I think we were playing volleyball, and I hated volleyball cause I'd have to be on a team and people would see my shitty serves. When it was my turn to serve, I thought, if it going to be crap I'm just going to hit it as hard as I could. So I did, and it bounced to the roof and into a basketball net perfectly. I was so shocked and everyone else was too. I was surrounded with people freaking out, and I just stood there in shock and with a look like duck, yeah. Even the teacher mind was blown. But sadly we didn't get a point for it. I would just handed you the game right there. I'm the quiet emo kid in my school. I was sat at the back of maths class and some kid was talking about me to his friends. They all looked at me. Then one of them said, "Are you going to kill me?" I didn't say anything, but I stared at him for a long time and he looked kinda uneasy. Eventually the class ended and he looked at me again and said, "It's going to kill me," and ran out of class. I'm not that scary. Trust me. Just quiet and misunderstood. The most awesome thing the quiet kid from my class did was at one time when our math teacher was teaching us about trigonometry. The quiet kid was sleeping through the entire lesson. Teacher called him out and made him answer a really confusing question that even made the smartest kid in our class give up. He stood up with still sleepy eyes, went up to the board, took the marker from the teacher, and wrote "I don't know" in 7 different languages, gave the marker back, and went back to sleep. He's a licensed doctor now. In 6th grade, I knew the quiet, and they only talked to people they were comfortable. One day the quiet kid got dressed coded for a short skirt and said in front of the whole class who was going to walk up to me and say "MMMM, look at those kneecaps, shut your mouth." The whole class was losing it. No one asked. When I was in middle school I beaten up some a-hole picking up on the frail quiet kid. He was literally bones. One day in high school I was getting bullied, but the quiet kid just slammed that dude's face into the wall. His nose broke bleeding and ran away. I asked him, "Why did you help me?" He said, "Just returning the favor." I was confused at first as he walked away. I just remembered it was him. Since then we became good friends. I was the quiet kid in my class apparently. I didn't know that until I heard people talking about it sadly. However, I do have major anger issues, which is bad if you're in middle school. There's lots of things to get mad at, lol. Scene science classroom. First kid, I hope you know, nobody likes you. Saying that to my friend. Me doesn't say a word and just looks at my friend. I start to stutter a lot, because I do, that when I'm mad. Second kid starts mocking me and making fun of me. Me gets up really fast, grabs the textbook that was on my table and walks to his table really fast. Second kid what? Me before he even got the chance to finish talking I hit him with the textbook. Almost hard enough to make him pass out in his friend's words. And calmly walks back to my table and packs up my stuff and walks to the office. Since then we weren't allowed to use textbooks in any of the classes we had together for the rest of the year. But it was worth it getting to stand up for my friend and myself. Well, I wouldn't call myself the quiet kid, but in my last 2 years of high school I was literally with the same people, because that's how the French system used to work. I had a small group of friends, but they were all really outgoing, and I didn't speak to other people. Some I never even greeted in my whole life. There was this girl who challenged me at English saying I was her rival. My friends came up with something. They decided to give her points for every good answer she would get in English class and they would tell me I was losing. So of course at some point I decided to go along with it, 1. Because I didn't like the girl, and 2. Because I wanted them to shut up. We watched a video on Christopher Columbus, and we had to explain in English all of what we understood. So I raised my hand and proceeded to talk for 5 minutes in English. Teacher was impressed. Classmates were surprised I could even speak. After that they started talking to me. They probably noticed I wasn't a freak. Bonus, the girl asked one of my friend if her accent was good after the class ended. And I quote, "After the teacher said I've got a surprise for you all, she responded, another test isn't a surprise nor a welcome one." It indeed was another test, and it was not welcome either. There was this one blonde-haired girl in my 3rd grade class and we were supposed to make a poem and present it to our class and our parents. The poem she made was about death and darkness. All the parents laughed, cause they thought she was joking. She was dead serious though. I was homeschooled, but since we are talking about quiet kids going deviant, ages me 12. Kid 6. Brother 3. Once the kid who lived next door was being a jerk to my baby brother. He took away the toy he was playing with and shoved him to the ground. I warned him to cut it out. He made my brother cry the second time he shoved him. Needless to say, I was furious. All my siblings were. Without another word, I picked the kid up and threw him on the ground as hard as I could. He cried and ran to his dad, who told my siblings and I to tell him next time his son was a jerk and that he'd take care of it. I didn't get in trouble. I don't know if my parents even know that happened. To this day, years later, one of us brought this up and my sister said, "We were all thinking it, but you actually did it." I think it shocked them because I'm generally a peaceful person. Looking back, I still kind of wish I had found a more peaceful way to resolve it. I know now that violence is never the answer, but sometimes violence is the only answer that certain people will listen to. But regardless, he never messed with my little brother again. There was this quiet boy in my class, and apparently he's friends with the typical popular hot boy. A lot of girls got jealous for some reason. The popular boy would always walk home with the quiet kid. They would eat together. They would always be seen together in the neighborhood and they were surprisingly neighbors. When one day the popular kid was absent, some of your typical spoiled brat came up to the quiet kid and started yelling at him. The quiet kid wasn't fazed at all. The girless started getting furious and aimed to slap him. But that's when, knock knock, the whole class turned at the door. The popular boy was there leaning on the door and glared at the girl. It was like an in real life anime moment there. The girl chuckled and walked towards the popular kid, saying she was just practicing for theater acting. She didn't even join the theater club. The popular kid just nodded at her. He pushed past her and walked towards the quiet kid. He was grinning the whole time. Bonus, the math teacher came in, and the popular kid was there when he was supposed to be absent. The teacher stared at him, and the popular boy smiled. The guy took the quiet kid's hand, kissed it like a gentleman, and left like nothing happened. This was the best moment in my life. Thumbs up. Everything someone she didn't like spoke, she would just thumbs up. However, when her crush talked to her, she would just blush, look away. Thumbs up 20 minutes later. consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe,